Hello! This is an ulna. That's right, it's the part of the forearm, and the radius attaches here and acts in parallel with it and can rotate accordingly. I guess this is the right arm actually. So this is the bone that I have. You're going to pick a bone. For those of the Monday class, the bones are going to be in Bernini on the bottom of the metal shelf in the closet. So you can pick one from there. I'll have them all there, and you can come in anytime and get one. Basically, the assignment for the bones are going to be a 4-phase study on 18 by 24. And first thing is going to be the orthographic. I want you to do 6 sides of the bone. So you can see this is a posterior, lateral, anterior, lateral, or whatever. I just learned those words. So anyway, the 4 sides longitudinally, and also the top and bottom. Depending on the bone you get, it's going to be different. Like a vertebrae is going to be different than an ulna, which is going to be different than a sacrum. But you'll get the idea. In this class, we're always breaking things into 6 sides, kind of a rectangular prism sensibility. So that's what you'll do. These are scan views. So it's like very straight on. I want you to try to be as exact as you can, and not just profiles, but really trying to indicate any depth that exists within the scan view. For example, the depth from here back to there, from here back to there, from here to there. You'll notice that a lot of these bones do not have, they're not just flat unto themselves. They've got all these ridges going on in it, so you can try to indicate those as well. You can use linear values sparingly. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one are gestural studies. I want you to take this bone and do like 5-minute gestural studies and animation pencil on the rest of the page. So here, here, here are the kind of the ones I did. They took me about 4 or 5 minutes apiece. And you're just trying to get a quick impression of the gesture, the volume, without overworking it. Again, just scatter them all over your page, and they're going to act as the background for the third phase, which is the long form studies, which is more of what I'm doing here, starting an animation and then getting it in graphite at the end. And here you're trying to be much more clear about what's happening with the planes. The foreshortening, you want to use a 2-point sensibility so that you get a real clear sense of top, side, bottom, front, etc. So those are going to go on top of these, and these like that. And then the last thing is to do a cross-section view, something like this, where you take one of your long-form studies and you actually do a cross-contour at various intervals, and then you take those sections and move them to the side. And why this is important is I want you to really realize that what's the volumetric shapes of these things. For example, this point right here is triangular, and in fact these 2 sides here and here are more concave, and this is convex. And then as you get down here, it becomes more of a square sense of it, and that transitions through the thing. So it's really important to see that all these curves actually have volumetric meaning and aren't just like parallel flat lines that you're doing. Again, that's sort of the point of the class. So with the long form studies, you really want to focus on, again, the directionality, based on a 2-point sensibility. So this would be my orientation in terms of a rectangular prism, and I'm really paying attention to which direction each face is facing. This is facing this way, and so is this facing this way. And with this is an angled thing. When I do a line like that, it means it's facing this way, and this is facing this way. You don't need those arrows, but it's really again important to try to orientate spatially very clearly in the major directions. And that's how you achieve subtlety, by being really aware of where you are, and then you can change, do subtle alterations of the angles in order to get where you want to go. So again, cross contour helps show what's going on with these big longitudinal journeys, registered trademark. And then again, foreshortening using line hierarchy and scale to get this going. If you look at this bone here, you'll see that it's got these proportions. I'm trying to stay within those proportions. Sometimes they get a little bit distorted. I don't mind that. I don't want them to be wildly distorted. This being so foreshortened like this, this is a little strange, but if it's that foreshortened, it's not that far off. So, yes, and then again, a notation on the linear value. I'm going to stop calling it core shadow because I want to stop using it as shadow. What I wanted to use it more as is something that is indicating the directionality of planes and where the plane is turning. So when I do that right here, that means, according to my cross contours, they go here and here and here, and that's where the plane turns right there. So instead of just drawing a hard-edged line there, which really isn't on the bone, I'm using the linear value to just indicate that is where the plane turns. Same thing here. This is where the plane turns, here to here. When you've got something like this, I'm kind of using it as a core shadow, but it's also reinforcing that we're going over the top and the plane turns right there. Again, minimal use of linear value. We're not creating value studies. We're trying to really indicate the directionality of planes, use outside to inside contour when appropriate, especially when there's a jump in plane. There is a big gap between here and here that is not connected there. So use those when appropriate. You've all been pretty good about that. So yes, all in all, you'll have 6 plus 6 plus 6, that's 18, plus 1 cross-section, 19 drawings in the study, all in one page. You don't have to worry intensely about composition. What I'm really interested in is good studies of bones that indicate the planes. These are very complex objects. We like to see them simply, but they're like anything. You look at the rock, the branch, long enough, you look at the bone, you're going to see, oh my gosh, this is really complex. And so the gestural studies are designed to get you into the mode and not worrying about it too much. Just get what's the basic motion, what's the basic shapes, keep it simple. And then these long form studies are more to really get in there and try to get at how these things are working out spatially exactly. So again, going over the assignment, 6-view orthographic. I want you to label the parts of the bone on one of the views. So you can Google anatomy of whatever your bone name is, and I'm not going to really grade you on if they're right or not. I just want you to realize that all these parts have a purpose. I did not label them, but I want you to. And they're connected to other bones, and this is connected to the humerus, and thus This it fits into that slot, and there's a name for this part, and for this part, and for the actual slot itself, and for the upper part, and the lower part, and the head, and the whatever that little nubbin thing is. So it's getting down to purpose. What are these things for? Yes, and then 6 gestural studies get you in, get you just loose and as a background. And the 6 long force studies using cross contour, linear value, line hierarchy, and foreshortened 2-point perspective with a cubular orientation, 20 to 30 minutes for this. And then 1 cross-section view of one of the long form studies. All right.